opportunity to lean against that as a storyline. So there's your VWAP there. Yeah. So that would generate, the idea is that that would generate a sell trade. Now, as I said, this is not set up to do the trades at this point. It's not set up to do anything at all, except I only started to look at it yesterday. So I can't put any type of valuation on this before we start talking about it. But with that in mind, is it doing the same as what we're talking about? So there's the break of structure here. There's your VWAP anchor point, and there's your sell opportunity there. There's your break of structure. There's your VWAP anchor point. And there's your sellable opportunity there. Do you agree? Because this is just VWAP. That's all this is VWAP. But they don't use VWAP. They use this thing called cluster volume. Well, I've looked at cluster volume and compared it to VWAP, and it's almost exactly the same. So I don't know what the reason why bother changing it, just to make it sound a little bit more different, I suppose. But you get the basic idea that the structure of it is a VWAP trade. So you can see that as we go forward into this phase here, you'll see that there's a big VWAP that comes in here from a big structure, and then there's these small VWAPs here, and you can see again the same type of trade setup. Now, the one thing about this, and this is the reason why this is interesting, is it's not just a bit of software that highlights these areas. It's a bit of software that you can actually get to trade for you. So in other words, this software, if I understand it correctly, would have sold here for you. And it would have sold here for you if you set it up properly. And it would have sold here for you if you'd set it up properly. It would have sold here for you. And it would have sold here for you. It would have sold as soon as the candle touches the green line. And the stop is entirely up to you. You could put it behind the prior fractal or just behind the current price if you want to. And their trade is very simple. The moment you can see here that there was a sell here with a target price where the green dots were and a stop just at the top of the structure. See that? So with that in mind, you would have had a massive winning sell here if you'd opened the door to it, a massive winning sell here, a massive winning sell here, a massive winning sell here, and a massive winning sell here, and a massive winning sell here. Now, this is all very good when the market's obviously trending the way it is. What happens when the market stops trending? Well, that's obviously one of the challenges, because it's a very simple, it's a very, very trend-based algorithm. It's going to lose money when it's not trending, one would imagine. But every VWAP system is going to lose money when it's not trending. The point is that when you've got the abilities to understand that, you've also got the abilities to switch it off. You've got the abilities to trade it only when it's going to trend. So you've got the ability to say, well, I think the market's going to go into a flatter structure, or it's the bad time of the day. I'm going to take it into market structure. I'm not going to trade it, for example, maybe in the London session, because I don't see where the opportunity is. But when I see that sell at lower prices coming off the big picture VWAP, for example, you say, well, I think it's going to trend for a few hours at least. And then you can switch something like this on. Now, as I said, I don't know if it's any good yet because I've only just set it up. But obviously it catches the trades that we've just been discussing here. You know, these add-in trades here, it catches the idea of that entire move pretty much. It's pretty much grabbing most of that information there. So you can see the last sell trade, for example, was at 1403, was this little sell trade here. Well, I don't think I got that sell at 1403 because the 1403 sell trade was right here. It was this pullback before that drop. And that's because what I'm using here is a 1 minute chart and what I'm using here is a 1000 volume chart. So this is finding different trades when the volume kicks off. So it's giving you more candles when the heavy volume hits and less candles when it doesn't. So when we look at it, we're obviously going to be testing it with you guys this week. So we'll look at it with you guys this week. We'll look at the settings and then we'll see what we can do for you with regard to the company itself. See what kind of prices we can maybe get for this if it's of interest. If it's of interest for a fully automated VWAP entry system. And that's what we're going to be looking at, with you. And again, the ability to switch it on or switch it off might be of importance, might be of interest. So that's what we're going to look at. It's going to be an honest appraisal of it. If it's no use, we'll say it's no use. If it's good, we'll say it's good. We don't have any particular alliances with anybody in this space, but it's the fact that it's fully automated. So when it's fully automated and you like the idea of the VWAP trade, then maybe it's got something for you to use. Maybe it's got a quality that you might want to use. So we'll certainly be looking at it. We'll certainly be going through it. We'll certainly be analyzing it in comparison to the ability to look at this manually. Obviously, when you look at it manually, you've got the ability to switch it on and off. But the other thing it teaches you, I suppose, is it teaches you that this has an automation quality about it that makes money. Well, if it's got an automation quality that makes money, it's also got a manual system that makes money as well, isn't it? You can sense that these sell trades were incredible, whether a software found them or didn't find them. The only advantage with a software like this is it's going to do the trade, so you're not going to have an excuse. You're not going to have that excuse again where, oh, well, I'm not sure, or I missed it, or whatever. You don't have that excuse. An algo takes it based on the rules that you give it. So we'll take a look at it this afternoon into the cash open, and we'll see what it finds. And I'll just leave it on the screen at the cash open for the next step for the rest of this week. I think, we taught the VWAP trade years ago. We talked about anchoring your VWAP years ago and why it was useful to do it. And, and I think for a lot of people, the ability to see that, the ability to recognize that and anchor properly is a very useful skill because it allows us to do a lot more with these types of trades. We can add in a lot but obviously this is a different type of a trade narrative here. But as I said, we've got a couple of things to look at in terms of order flows as well. Want to just make sure we answer some people's questions, and that's what people were asking if I could take a look at a certain software. So you can see here's a trade. So it's only set up when it breaks the structure. So it's now broken that structure there. So technically what's going to happen now is it would buy into that 820 price. Okay, so it starts when that breaks there. Not here because it doesn't know that it's going to break there. Okay, so it starts here. So as it comes into that area, the idea is that when it comes into that area, you're going to look to buy it at that stage. And the target price, interestingly enough for this, is only, and this is what they recommend, this isn't any, this is their information. The target price for that buy trade is not the prior high, it's 60% of the prior high. So that would have been where the target is, and that would have been a winning trade. It's a scalp in the direction of the trend. So that would have been a winning trade. Yeah. Now, obviously, it's maybe different from what we're talking about. It's maybe different from how we would maybe play it, into the cash open. Obviously, a lot of things can happen. We're wanting to do a lot of analysis at the cash open, figure out whatever else is going on. But as I said, just at this point, it's not what's important. What's important is that we have this ability to make sense of some of the other things that are available that you guys might find useful. And, if you find useful in terms of automation, because you're not going to be at your desk, but perhaps it's going to be something that catches your attention, catches your eye. I will be looking at it every day this week so that you can take a look for yourself. If it's something of interest, leave it with us and we'll see what we can do with regard to getting you a specific price on it for a fully automated VWAP system. But we'll look at it over the course of the next week anyway. And as I said, if it's any value to us, we'll obviously do an honest appraisal of it. By the way, the bar for this being any good is very, very high indeed. So if we say it's any good, that's going to have to be taken as real praise indeed.